So what if financial freedom wasn't just some vague, far-off dream? What if it was a real destination, with a map you could actually follow starting today? Well, that's what we're going to break down. A clear, actionable plan to get there, inspired by someone who went from absolute rock bottom to being a millionaire in his 20s. Okay, let's dive in. This whole journey, it starts from a place that I think a lot of us can relate to. The guy who came up with this plan, Mark Tilbury, was basically written off. He dropped out of school when he was just 16, feeling like he had absolutely no future. Yeah, his first job, get this, was literally making wooden trash cans for $2 an hour. It was just enough to scrape by. Every single day was the same. He was stuck on that classic hamster wheel, working his tail off but getting nowhere. And he just knew he had to find a way out. So the question is, right? How in the world did he go from that workshop to total financial freedom? Well, he didn't just wish for it. He built a very specific step-by-step plan. And that's exactly what we're going to unpack right now. All right, here's the game plan. First, we're going to help you find your freedom figure. Then we'll talk about how to build your golden goose. After that, we'll get into some clever ways to hack your cash flow and speed this whole thing up. And finally, we'll cover the mindset shift that honestly ties it all together. Okay, let's jump right in with step one. Find your freedom figure. I mean, think about it. You can't get to a destination if you don't even know where you're going. This is all about defining your financial finish line. So what even is a freedom figure? It's pretty simple, actually. It's the total pile of money you need invested so that the earnings from it, the passive income, can pay for your entire lifestyle, forever, without you ever having to touch that original pile of cash. To make this real, let's actually build out a dream lifestyle budget, okay? We'll start with the big one, housing. Let's say you want to live in a nice one-bedroom apartment in a really cool city, something like Miami. That's going to run you about $30,000 a year. Next up, the car. And yeah, let's go big. A Porsche 911 is a pretty common dream car. So when you add up the payment, the gas, insurance, all that stuff, you're looking at around $4,125 a year. Of course, freedom isn't freedom without some travel, right? So let's budget for 3 decent vacations a year. That'll probably come out to about $5,000. And finally, life. We got to lump together all the other essentials and the fun stuff, bills, food, health insurance, plus a budget for going out and enjoying yourself. That adds another $14,500 to our yearly total. So when you add all that up, boom, there's our number. The total cost to fund this amazing lifestyle is $75,245 per year. But here's the real question. How do we turn that yearly expense into the one big number we're aiming for? And that leads us perfectly into our second section, Build Your Golden Goose. This is where we take that yearly number and figure out the total investment you need to actually make it happen. The secret sauce here is something called the Rule of 25. And it's so simple, it's brilliant. You just take your ideal yearly spending and you multiply it by 25. That's it. That number is your total investment goal, your freedom figure. So for our dream lifestyle costing about $75,000 a year, we just multiply that by 25, and there it is. Our freedom figure is just over $1.8 million. That's the number. That is the destination. And this is where that whole golden goose idea comes in, and it's perfect. That $1.8 million, that's your goose. And the rule is you never sell the goose. You just live off the golden eggs it lays every year, that's your investment returns, while the goose itself stays safe and sound, laying eggs forever. So you're probably asking, okay, but why 25? Why does this work? Well, it's all about being super safe with your money. The math is based on a 4% withdrawal rate. If you look at this chart, historically, the stock market, like the S&P 500, has returned about 12% a year on average. By only taking out 4%, just a third of that, you're creating this huge safety buffer. It lets your goose survive any market dips and even keep growing over time. Okay, I get it. That $1.8 million number can feel huge. So the big question is, how can we get there faster? And that brings us to section 3, hack your cash flow. These are strategies to seriously ramp up how much you can invest without having to, live on ramen noodles. Let's just take one killer example, car hacking. The way most people do it, they're trapped. The average new car payment is a crazy $734 a month. That's almost $9,000 a year going into an asset that's losing value every single day. Car hacking is the total opposite. You buy a good used car that's already taken its biggest hit in value.
You drive it for a few years, sell it for almost what you paid, and boom, all that money is freed up to invest.
And that's just the start, right? This hacking mindset, you can apply it to everything. There's house hacking, where you rent out a spare room and have someone else pay your mortgage. Or brand hacking, just buying the store brand instead of the name brand. You can do it with tax hacking, deal hacking, and of course, the big one, boosting your income with a side hustle.
Now, I know what a lot of people are thinking. I don't have time for a side hustle. But let's actually look at the math. At the 168 hours in a week, you take out a 40-hour job, you take out 8 hours of sleep a night, even time for commuting and eating, and you are still left with over 50 hours of free time. Every single week. The time is there.
And all of this, it brings us to the final, and honestly, the most critical piece of this entire puzzle. Section 4, shift your money mindset. This isn't about tactics anymore. This is about changing your fundamental relationship with money. This slide, right here, this is the whole game. It's the one thing that separates the rich from everyone else. See, for the poor, money is just for survival, for paying bills. For the middle class, it's about getting loans, building credit to buy things that usually go down in value. But the rich, they see money completely differently. They see every single dollar as a tool for expansion, as a tiny worker they can send out into the world to build more wealth for them. So at the end of the day, every dollar you have is either a tool that's building your freedom, or it's a trap that's keeping you stuck. Once you really start seeing your money as a tool for expansion, everything changes. So the only question left to ask is, what are you building with yours?